A few sites awesome for apartment hunting is Kijiji. Kijiji is pretty much a Canadian based, like almost like an eBay. It's like eBay, but almost like also an apartment. I really can't explain it. It's like a combination of eBay mixed with a rental website. When you go on Kijiji, it's kijiji.ca. There'll be different categories. You can get pretty much you get everything and anything on Kijiji. You can even search for services as well as goods on Kijiji. So what you would do is you would just go ahead and type in, say you're looking for a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, but pretty much you're looking for an apartment. And they're going to ask you if you want to search in for rent. You can put in a location. Let's say I want to search for the city of Toronto, and it's going to create a listing of all of the long-term rentals that's in the city of Toronto. If you wanted to move outside the city, you can broaden it to if you want to search for, say, let's just say the Mississauga, or you want to search for in Nova Scotia. You can narrow it down to those categories. My internet is so slow. But yeah, you can also filter. You can filter by price. Let's say for a 2-bedroom, you want to look for $1,600. You don't want to spend anything under $1,600. You don't want it to show anything under $1,600. So it's going to now narrow it down to anything under 16. So you have a 1-bedroom for 15. I would say just leave it an apartment for rent instead of narrowing it down based on how many bedrooms, because sometimes things are posted the incorrect place. Like right now, this sounds really good. You have a 2-bedroom basement for $1,200 and utilities included. But if you notice is that this is in Scarborough. So one thing you learn that when you come over here, it really depends on where you're going to college or where you will be working. But at least over here, there's a lot of GO stations. So a lot of people do come from outside of the city to go to work. So like you have people coming from Hamilton, etc., just to come to work in Toronto or maybe some other part. Like you can work in Niagara and take the GO train. So it really depends. It can be a long ride. So, and I don't know if for sure it's Niagara, but I've never personally took the GO train or the GO bus, but that is an option. Another site is PadMapper. The only thing with PadMapper is sometimes it's not always, like they're not always up to date. So that's the only thing. There's also another website that I really like is Rent Cafe. And these are just my favorite sites to use. Also, you can also try Zillow. I use Zillow. Zillow is pretty much the same as Realtor.ca. And you can look for, these are pretty much private listings or listings that you wouldn't really find on Kijiji and Rent Cafe. Sometimes they do advertise both, but these are people's personal homes that they'll let realtors know that they're looking for someone to rent their home, whether it be the basement or the entire house. You can find that here on Realtor.ca. This has a complete listing. Sometimes there are listings that are specific for a certain real estate brokerage, but you can still find most of the listings on Realtor.ca, and you can put in your max price, how many bedrooms you want to have, and your price, just like every other site. So these are just like my favorites. Personally, I found my apartment on Kijiji. Before I moved, there were options that I wanted to get, and they were on Kijiji. Also, really good tips is looking for direct property management sites and going directly to those sites. So let's say you're walking or you're on the bus and you see that there's a property management called let's say HJ something. So you're just gonna go to HJ property management, and they're gonna have their listings on their website of the apartments that they have available. So yeah. So now I move on to tips for when you are apartment hunting. So tips for when you are apartment hunting. Let's go to Notepad. So the first tip is so when you first come to Canada, you don't have anywhere to stay. The first thing I would say is definitely, if you have friends, stay with a friend. And this is good because when you stay with a friend, at least you can have an idea of which area you want to move to. Maybe you can see if you can find a job, and then find out if you can find housing closer to that specific job. Or yeah, it's just better if you stay with a friend, because also you're gonna need a place to stay, and apartments are like hotels are expensive. The second thing would be, if you don't have any friends, you don't have any family that you can stay with, look for rooms for rent. And some rooms for rent are short term, some are long term, and you will find that in Canada, a lot of people room together. In terms of, a lot of people share homes, they share apartments, sometimes they even share bedrooms for the sake of saving on costs. So if you don't have a friend, you don't have a family, get roommates. You can find a house and look for roommates once you find a house that you like, or you can just go ahead, you see a place that maybe it's in an area that you like, you see it on Kijiji, you can go ahead and rent a room from that person, and that person acts as your landlord. And it is best to stay, like, if you can stay with someone and they would act as your landlord, if you don't, because when you first come here, you know, people don't really want to rent you. Personally, when I came here as a permanent resident, people are a little indifferent about renting to you, because you have no credit, you have no history. So it's like, who is this person? You're pretty much like a newborn person, and they don't know what your payment history is like, so they're very iffy about renting to you. But if you stayed with someone, they can vouch for you and say you stayed with them for this amount of time. And yeah, because sometimes it's so weird to rent an apartment. Sometimes you need a landlord reference, so kind of defeats the purpose if you're trying to find housing. So one thing you need to do is either stay with someone so that they can be your landlord reference. The other thing is, also, you probably want to set a budget, because depending on your budget, and also like what you consider to be necessities, you can work around. Sometimes, you have to compromise and figure out what is it that you're willing to give up. Personally, I wanted a 2-bedroom. I wanted a good location. I wanted to be close enough to where I work. And I found something. The only thing is that this is a basement unit. I definitely would not knock basement units. This is the first basement that I've ever lived in. And I got everything. I have my own washer and dryer. I don't share with anybody. I don't live with anybody. And for me, that was a big deal for me, just because I'm not used to having housemates and roommates. I've had sisters my entire life, and I'm not used to doing it with strangers, and I just wanted something for myself. So, and also I wanted like a filming room and a guest room because I have a lot of family. But yeah, so whatever is important to you. You know, a lot of people that lives in the city per se, they have two jobs, just live in a certain lifestyle if they have condos. So just stay within your budget or see what you are willing to compromise. For me, I'm not going to work two jobs just to live somewhere well within my budget. And I'm going to give you guys a tour of what my apartment looks like and what I found. So I feel like that's pretty much all that you need to know when you're moving to Canada. There's really no service that helps you move and like that helps you find housing before you come. I tried it, and to be honest, people are not going to rent to someone that's not physically here. So even if you can send a friend and have that friend maybe act as a co-signer for you, then maybe. But it's good if you can have someone co-sign something for you, because they are looking at if you have a job. They are looking at your income. They are looking at your credit history. Not every place looks at it. Some places on Kijiji don't look at it, or some may not look at it if you have a roommate that has all of those requirements, which means before you even find a place, you should find a roommate so that when you find a place, you have someone that already has those things that you are lacking. And that's it, guys. Trying to come out with as much videos as I can, put them out as fast as I can. I just hope it's okay for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Bye.